Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's Lane. I've been talking about making videos like this for a while. Come here. But, I really like clothes, and my dream would be actually to go into the fashion industry, but I've been, like, conditioning myself not to do that, just because I know how difficult it would be, and I don't know necessarily how fulfilling it would be as far as, the impact I have on the world. So anyway, enough about that. I'm going to talk about clothes and helping you to pass with your clothes. This is geared towards female to male, trans guys, obviously. I'm going to divide it into sections so that I can get really in detail about certain things. So this first video is going to be about shirts. Shirts can be pretty challenging just because there are so many different shirt cuts, and you know, even if you wear a small in one store can be completely different from another store. First of all, a lot of us trans guys, we have to buy smaller sizes, and that can be really hard to find stores that stock them. This part kind of sucks because personally I like a more sophisticated style. If I could, I would wear, you know, like nice shirts and sweaters all the time, but you have to really shop at places that are geared towards like young men because they tend to be slimmer and a bit smaller, especially in areas like the shoulders. So I would suggest places like, you know, your typical mall stores, which would be like PacSun, Hollister, American Eagle, Zumiez, Hot Topic. Then like Urban Outfitters, obviously, because they carry extra smalls, American Apparel, but word of advice, be careful about that, because even though they carry smaller sizes, I've noticed that sometimes some of their clothes tend to show off my curves more, especially because they are unisex. So while that's a good option for sizing, make sure you try stuff on before you get it. Or if you're buying online, you know, just make sure you order a few sizes and then return the one that doesn't work. Yeah, also there's this store called Topman. It's a British store, but they have an online site for the United States. So I will post that because they also they carry like extra smalls in some sizes. I don't actually have experience with them personally. I've been thinking about ordering from them for a while, but I haven't. So if I do, I will update on that, but I'm willing to bet it's a good place to shop at considering that they have such small, ridiculous sizes. As a whole, usually European clothing stores tend to be better for smaller guys because I don't know, America has vanity sizes, which is where the sizes say that they're, you know, like a small, but they're actually like a medium, so that people can be like, ooh, I have to go a size down, which sucks. So European stores usually fit better. H&M is one of them. If you have a Zara near you, Topman, just anything European based. When I went to Canada, I was so surprised at even how the clothes there fit me as opposed to the clothes here in America. So, sizing, yeah. As far as types of shirts, there's a lot of little things about shirts that can help you out. This is one that I've especially paid attention to, which is stitching. The shirt's actually from Target. I like it because it says New Haven, and there is no team called the New Haven Wildcats, but I live near New Haven, and like New Haven never gets represented. But I don't know if you can see this, but if you look at the stitching of this shirt, it actually has a stitch that goes straight down, and then the sleeve stitching doesn't start until right at the end here. So because of that, it kind of accentuates the shoulders. It makes them look like they come out sharper. If you get shirts, I don't think I have any, but sometimes shirts will have something called a raglan sleeve, R-A-G-L-A-N. If you've ever seen those baseball tees with the different color arms, they're notorious for being cut like this. What's out there? Sorry. But those are cut so that the sleeve begins like here. And even though shirts like that can be nice, if you're a trans guy, you gotta be really careful with that, because that makes your shoulders look smaller, a lot smaller. And that can be a problem when it comes to passing, especially if you're a smaller guy like me. So be careful with stuff like that, with stitching. Also, be careful with the length of your shirts. I actually prefer a longer shirt because when I put it over my pants and stuff, it makes my torso look longer, which makes me look more masculine. But for some people, wearing a longer shirt can be really bad because then it accentuates the butt and the hips. So if you have that problem, definitely make sure that your shirts are shorter. If you need smaller sizes, don't be ashamed to go in the boys section. I actually love shopping in the boys section, especially at places like Target. They have a really good boys section. And the Gap. I love Gap Kids. I have a sick sweater that I got from there. It's like a black. My girlfriend has it right now because she wants to wear it to a party. But it's like a black sweater with just like white skull on it. And it's really sick. So yeah, stuff like that. As far as, there's like this big V-neck debate in the trans guy community, and I've heard a lot of opposing ideas about this. That, you know, stay away from them because they make you look more feminine, but I actually prefer them to crew necks because they make me look more masculine. The thing about it is that women's V-necks and men's V-necks are cut very differently. You can usually tell if someone's wearing, you know, what gendered shirt they're wearing. Because women's V-necks tend to have a much deeper V. They usually have a thinner, like, collar. They usually have the cap sleeved, and they're usually much shorter, and they're kind of darted in the middle here, which makes them flare out. But if you buy men's V-necks, they tend to be cut straight. They have a V that kind of accentuates just right here. It doesn't go really down deep, and the sleeve is longer. So don't be afraid to wear V-necks as long as the sleeve is longer, as long as the shirt's longer, and as long as the V doesn't go too deep. And I actually prefer it to crew necks because, like, my chest is really small, so even when I wear an extra small binder from Underworks, it doesn't make me, like, very flat, which you're not supposed to be completely flat, but I mean, like, I feel like I still come out more than most guys. So if I wear a crew neck that's tight up here, then it's tight up here, and then it has more room to accentuate there. So collars are really going to help you if you pay attention to them for shirts. Where the hell is my phone? Oh, it's in my pocket. Alright, so t-shirts, stuff like that. Button-down shirts. I'm a big fan of them, but it's incredibly hard to find them to fit you right if you're a trans guy. I've ended up being so that I only really shop in the boys section for these, but that can be a problem because they're usually cut really boxy, and I don't like that. H&M sometimes has shirts that will fit me better, but as a whole, I'm kind of straying away from them until I get bigger, because I've been working out, or until I get on hormones. But some stores that carry extra small sizes in shirts, the J. Crew online store carries extra small shirts, and they have, oh bless you, and they have very nice shirts, and so does the Gap. The Gap has men's extra small shirts, and even their boys' shirts tend to be a little on the slimmer side. Target has really nice boys button-downs. I went there the other day, and I like more classic stuff, like I said, like, I like plaid and I like flannel, but I don't like the trendy kind that you find at, like, PacSun. Like, I really don't like that. I like the kind that you would see, like, I don't know, that you would go to, like, a department store and see in the men's section. And Target had this whole display in the boys section of, like, the Cherokee brand flannel shirts. They were all, like, classic colors and stuff. And they fit really well, and it was really exciting. So, yeah, as far as that goes, you have to be really careful with that. And be really careful on how you wear it around here. I don't like the look, really, of wearing a t-shirt under a long shirt, but as a trans guy, I kind of have to, because if I wear it too deep, then it makes too much of a feminine look and shows the binder sometimes. But if you wear it up here, like I said, again, it does that thing where it can kind of show off the chest more. So be really careful with that. Also, watch the cuffs around your arms. This is another thing I'm going to mention about shirts. Try to find shirts that have a slimmer cuff. Like this shirt, it's not very slim, but you can see it changes from the regular shirt to be a cuff, which is somewhat thinner. Because a lot of the problem, trans guys have smaller hands than bio guys. And if you have a shirt that's just completely straight down, it'll make your hands look even smaller. This goes for sweatshirts, sweaters. Try to make sure it has a thin cuff because it'll make your hands look bigger. So when that comes to sweatshirts, again, make sure that the cuffs are tighter here, and try to make sure that it's tighter here, because even though you might think that it'll accentuate your hips, it'll actually make them look smaller. Because here's the thing, if it's tight here, and then it comes out here, then it makes this part look wider than this part. But it won't make you look fat, because people know that sweatshirts just come out more like that. Like, it'll look fine. So try to make sweatshirts that aren't too long again, because if they balloon out at the butt, even if you don't have a butt, it'll make you look like you do. So just try to make sure they're not too long, they're kind of tight around there, and, you know, whatever kind of hood. If you get a smaller hood, women's hoodies tend to have smaller hoods, so do like little boy hoods. So if you get a bigger hood, it can actually look more masculine. I don't know. See, the thing is, a lot of these seem really nitpicky, picky-yoon, but it's not so much that people will look at you and be like, you have a small hood, I bet you're a girl. It'll just be something that people subconsciously register. So that is something that I think a lot of people subconsciously register. And I spend a lot of time scrutinizing people's clothing choices and the way that they fit them, so I can tell you these things for sure. So yeah, make sure about that. Again, just make sure you're watching this area, shoulders, those are going to be your areas of concern, and right here. Other kind of shirts, I can't really think of any. Shirts that show off your arms. If you work out and you have arms to show off, don't be afraid to do that just because you're trans. I actually just bought an Under Armour shirt recently, and those are like the mad tight workout shirts, and I had to get a boys, like an extra large boys, even though it's really tight fitting, and it comes like across my bicep really nicely, and it shows it off really nicely. A lot of polo shirts will do that for you, because usually they tend to have a thicker cuff that comes up higher. So polo shirts will help to masculinize you immediately. But again, try to be careful where you buy them. I actually like the Ralph Lauren boys section because they're a lot cheaper than regular Ralph Lauren, and they fit better. I've noticed that like American Eagle and Hollister, even though they're notorious for polos, they tend to be a little baggier fitting, which it can be fine, but if you're really concerned about passing, I would advise against it. Also, thinner materials with polo shirts, they make those like t-shirt type of polo shirts that can really show off stuff, because usually they make it a lot thinner than a regular t-shirt. And that's just a general rule of thumb for trans guys. Make sure the fabric is not too thin, because that will show off any curves that you have. If you make sure that it's something thicker, like the PK fabric that polo shirts are made out of, thermal like this, or just nice, thick cotton t-shirts, you should be good. Hanes are good for that. This is from Target. Target has the perfect thermal shirts, because thermals will shrink in the wash, so this fits like perfectly. It makes my butt look really small, it makes my shoulders look a little more pronounced, makes my hips look smaller. So yeah, also Old Navy is a good place for things like thermals and thicker t-shirts. And if you are buying button-downs, make sure that you don't get like a really little boy fabric. Like Old Navy, I don't go there for button-downs unless they have plain colors, because the stripes tend to be more of that young look. But like here, I have an example here. This shirt is from J. Crew, and it's like a more manly shirt than a little boy's. Like it has these kind of colors instead of like bright blue and orange, and it has the really thin pinstripes. So just things like that. If anyone has any more questions, I'll be definitely willing to try to answer that for you, because like I said, I'm kind of obsessed with clothing, and I scrutinize people and how their clothing fits them. So I have a pretty good idea of this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll go back to playing Bubble Spinner and not cleaning. Bye.